Hockey Show, and today we're talking about the series of the Eastern Conference Finals between the New York Rangers, the President Trophy winning team, against the Florida Panthers, last year's Stanley Cup finalist that came up too short as the runner-up. And these two teams have been looking for that Stanley Cup so much in the last 10 years, because the Florida Panthers, a team that for most of its history has been like back and forth between like from being really like a big time team to a very low team, very middle of the pack, never truly at the bottom, but very like at the bottom like third of the NHL for most of its lifespan, it feels like at this point. And until very recently, things have gone from like being a 5 out of 10 to this team being a 10 out of 10. Looking for that Stanley Cup and breaking through a couple years ago with the President's Trophy being one of the most offensively talented teams to falling short in the first round. And then they come right back, ready to go, and they make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. And this year, they've looked just as damn good doing it as well. This year, the New York Rangers, the President Trophy winners, have just looked like they've been on a roll. A couple years ago, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Looked really good doing it then. Took Tampa Bay, I believe, to Game 7 and really challenged them to make them look like a good bid for a new contender of the East. But then last year, things fell apart in the first round, but things have bounced right back. This team looks as good as they were back then, if not better. They look like the real deal, and they have a lot of moving pieces to make them look like one of the best, most likely contenders in the NHL for the Stanley Cup. And to me, this is a true battle of the East. Now, going into it, the records of these two teams, 8-3 for the Panthers, 8-2 for the New York Rangers. Those two losses coming from only last round against the Hurricanes. Of course, if you're watching this, I'm pretty damn sure you know what happened last series where the Hurricanes were down 3-0 to the Rangers, and the Rangers almost screw the pooch on it and give up the series again, but they close it out in Raleigh and take it 4-2 last round. There's the President's Trophy winners. They swept the Capitals in round 1. And in the season series, though, things look good for the Florida Panthers. 8-3 is their record. They're 2-0-1 in the season series against the New York Rangers, which I am one that never listens to season series. I shouldn't say never, but like 9 out of 10 times, I would say a season series doesn't mean anything. Only the rare times where I really look at like the actual situation, right? Where when I look at a season series between, say, like if it's a series between like the Hurricanes and the Islanders, it's like those two teams probably didn't bring their all against each other, right? It's not truly a rivalry series. Those games didn't really feel that important, you know? And then especially in other circumstances like the Oilers versus the Vancouver Canucks, where the Canucks swept them. They were all at the very beginning of the year where McDavid was injured. A lot of the team was a bad start for the Edmonton Oilers. They turned everything around. Vancouver started hot as hell to begin the season. So that, like, those usually don't matter. But for this series, it does interest me, where all the games ended with the winner having 4 goals on the board, winning 4-something, and the Panthers won 2 of them. I believe they were 4-3 and 4-2, and then the one the Rangers won was in overtime, 4-3. So it's an interesting case where the Rangers were unable to close the deal against one of the other top teams in the East, which is an interesting fact, because the Florida Panthers and the Rangers this entire season have been one of the like 5-6 teams that were in the bid for the number 1 team of the regular season. So to me, I might look at this series as a little bit more valuable to look at in the regular season, because the Panthers winning 2-0-1 and that one being a shootout loss, to me, is like these two teams know at that time that they were going to be top contenders, right? Top teams in the East were looking for that President's Trophy. But as there was like, 6 teams, the Stars, the Bruins, the Rangers, the whatever, right? There was like a handful of teams all like within 1 point of each other to win the President's Trophy, all at like one time. They all could have won the Stanley Cup. I mean, the President's Trophy ended right then and there. But it goes to the Rangers by the end of the year. And to me, it's interesting, because if the Panthers are the team that could bring it and finish finish the games off and win them in regulation. The Rangers couldn't win it until overtime. I mean, to a shootout even. So to me, I think that is kind of valuable to look at that season series where the Florida Panthers were able to bring the heat. They brought the fire. They shut them down 4-2 a couple games, kept them going to a shootout one game. So to me, it's kind of an interesting case here. And I think the biggest thing that we should look at now is what is this team that we're looking at going into this Eastern Conference Finals, right? For the Cats, the Miami Cats, the Florida Panthers, they've shown that they can go to war and they can come out unscathed. Let's look at the Boston Bruins series. Against the Bruins, they showed them that they have grit, they have tenacity, they have a fire, they have that battle wanting to win those puck battles along the boards. And if you're a hockey player, a true hockey fan that watches the game, you know how important a puck battle is, right? It's so annoying, right? Like when you watch your team, it's like, God, like the other team keeps getting the puck. The Panthers have shown that they can fight and they go for it. It's not just like the top guys and the guys getting all the heat right now, like Sam Bennett and Kachuk, you know? It's everyone from Reinhart and Barkov to guys even down the wing to Lomberg, like Lundell, Luosterainen. All these guys fight so hard for the puck along the boards. They win those battles. They play tenacious. They get in there. They shove bodies out of the way. They crash the net. They take the eyes away from the goaltender. They can break some of the best goaltenders in the league, and that is one thing about the Panthers I want to focus on too. They poke and they broke the Bears. They destroyed Jeremy Swayman, who was, in my eyes, the hottest player in the NHL so far in the first 2 rounds. And they broke him. They were able to bring him to his knees and make him just beg for mercy, right? Same thing that the Vegas Golden Knights did against all the other great goaltenders that they played up against, like Hellebuck, like Jake Ottinger, like Bobrovsky. They did the same thing to all those amazing goaltenders and made them made them look like second-rate goaltenders, right? They did that to Andrei Vasilevsky in the first round, who I will say has not been the true cat that we're used to, but still, Andrei Vasilevsky and Jeremy Swayman so far, right? Igor Shesterkin is next up on the block. It would not surprise me if they can break him again. And then they've shown that they can just score offensively. They can shut down some of the best offensive teams in the league with Kucherov, with Stamkos, Braden Point, Cirelli, Hagel. They have shown they can destroy the defensive play and the goaltending of the Bruins, and they can destroy and shut down. They can neutralize the offensive powers of a team like Tampa Bay, even like the Bruins, and make them look like their guys can't score any goals, right? To me, this is lining all the way up perfectly to what New York's strengths are, right? They have some top guys like the Tampa Bay Lightning that can really put some big points on the boards, play dominant, have their hot game, and they go in there and they can shut those one guys down at a time, right? They have the good goaltending and strong defense of, like, say, the Bruins, maybe even better than that. But they've shown that they can destroy that as well. And for me, let's take a look at the New York Rangers first, right? The Rangers, what have they shown? They've shown that they have a killer power play and also just a penalty kill in general. Both of those two strengths have been strong. Maybe not as of late against the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes really did kind of fight back and find their ground. But I guess I'm just going to cut to the chase here, right? The big thing that has really, really slowed me down for the Rangers, right? Other than them having some top guys who can show that they're here to play. Trocheck, Chris Kreider, Zibanejad, Panarin. All guys getting points on the board. They fight hard. They never give up. They have their hot periods where they go out on the ice. They can get 3 points in a period and really put their team above the other, right? They have their guys in the background with Trouba, who's playing his heart out. He's playing strong. Guys like Ryan Lindgren look solid back there, right? And of course, their best players so far in my eyes. Maybe Trocheck is going to pass him soon, but in my eyes still, this is all Igor Shesterkin's game. It has been his reason that this Ranger squad is where they're at. Because I have to say, I have been unimpressed against the way they've played against these teams, right? First of all, the Rangers got super easy win over the Capitals, right? The Capitals, in my eyes, should not even be in the playoffs. The Rangers, easy win for them. Any team that is worth their salt would have swept the Rangers, right? You don't think the Florida Panthers would have swept the Rangers? Easily. They would have swept them out, right? The Hurricanes would have swept the Capitals, right? It's not a surprise that the Rangers did that. That shouldn't be added to their resume, right? What should be is the fact that they got to win against the Carolina Hurricanes. Because the Hurricanes were the way better team, just like what happened to Florida last year. And then they were able to pass them because of the Hurricanes' own flaws, right? And sure, you can say, oh, well, they still won. You're absolutely right. But they shouldn't have, right? The Hurricanes should have been able to finally find what the hell's wrong with them, which is scoring offense and just scoring a couple goddamn goals other than losing by 1 goal every game. And the Hurricanes just dug themselves into a hole. They do it every single year. It has been their issue for the last 6 seasons, where they're so good, they're very stacked, they're very well-rounded, such a deep team, up, down, in the middle, but they just can't find that freaking offense. And the Rangers with Igor Shesterkin was right there to stop every little tiny bounce, to not give up anything slight at all, right? Shesterkin's been unstoppable. He's been a machine. He has been the most consistently good Ranger on this team, right? To me, they got lucky against the Hurricanes. That easily could have been a series 4-2, the Hurricanes. It could have easily been 3-0 Hurricanes in the same vein. The thing that propelled them forward is they have guys like Kreider that the team, like Hurricanes, don't have, where Chris Kreider will put this team on his back and score a natural hat trick in the third period to give his team that one little bump that they need to win the game. They have Zibanejad, who starts the series super strong with a 3-point first period where he's unstoppable, and he continues to do so, maybe not getting any points, but by his play of just playing so strong throughout the rest of that game, lifts them to win game 1. And then the same thing goes each game. Panarin was solid game 2. Vincent Trocheck, I forget which game he was huge in, but it's just the same story over and over again, where those 4 wins come off the back of a solid performance by Igor Shesterkin, the power play always being clutch, the penalty kill giving nothing to the Hurricanes, and the Rangers having a couple top guys that put the puck in the net a couple times to hoist them over the line against a team that was a bit shaky like the Hurricanes, where Frederik Andersen was not the best goaltender in the world. So the Rangers, to me, in my opinion, have been unimpressive in my eyes. They have not done anything too good to make me go like, oh yeah, this team can score offensively, they can just do whatever, right? To me, the Florida Panthers have shown that they can break the best goaltenders in Vasilevsky and Swayman, who I would say have done much a better job than Shesterkin has. They have done so much more offensively, shown how much more deep they are than a team like the Rangers have, where the Rangers' top guys just keep getting a couple of goals that they just need to get over the line, and they get the job done. Sure, the depth is fine, right? And when I write down here, and in the thumbnail there, where I put Fugazi above the New York Rangers, right? When I say that, I am not saying this team is bad or anything short of amazing. But you have to be goddamn brilliant to win the Stanley Cup. You have to be the best contender possible to win the Stanley Cup. We see it every year, that the best team truly wins, right? It's never a fluke. It's never anything. Over the last, at least in my eyes, like 7 years, we have seen the best team in the playoffs win the Stanley Cup. And the New York Rangers have been unimpressive. Their depth isn't that reliable. Their defense isn't that amazing. It's having a tough time generating consistently throughout a game, where only their top guys can hoist them over the line, where I even see a team like the Maple Leafs standing a chance against some of these teams that they play. You don't think the Maple Leafs would have swept the Capitals? They sure would have. You don't think the Toronto Maple Leafs would have beaten this Hurricane squad? I think they have a good chance if Samsonov plays somewhat decent. Like, this team this Rangers squad has done nothing too impressive to me, where the Florida Panthers have beaten some of the top quality content in the league. Now, this is where I want to put a caveat. Is this the Rangers' fault? I don't think so. It is not the Rangers' fault that they have not been pushed to the limit in my eyes, right? But how many times did you see in the games that they lost to the Hurricanes, or even the games that they won, where most of the game has been a snooze fest? By the Rangers especially, right? They just look like, sometimes they look incompetent, they look sad, they look slow, they look unimpressed, they look like they don't truly care that much to be there. They don't have that firepower, which they would get if they have guys like Rempe and Trocheck always buzzing, and Kreider, right? When those guys are buzzing, that period's electric, but these guys haven't done that consistently through a whole game until the other team overpowers them and plays better than them. To me, the Florida Panthers are going to be able to toss around guys like Chris Kreider. They're going to slow down Zibanejad and Kreider and Trocheck down the especially Zibanejad and Kreider down the wings. The defense, in my eyes, will not be very impressive, as they will not be able to get anything on the net and really generate anything from behind. The Florida Panthers are so deep. They've got so many options. They've got the speed. They've got the fight. They have the skill. They've got everything on their side and some of the guys like Carter Verhaeghe and Tkachuk, who are a little bit more quiet in the Bruins series, feels like they're primed to get back into this series and get some good goals on the board. forward and bounce back, because those guys are the type of guys that don't ever stop running their engine, and felt a little snake bitten last series, right? This feels like a series where the Florida Panthers are going to find their legs all together to get prepared for the finals. And it looks like they're going to rough up the Rangers. They're going to overpower the guys. To Panarin, like, it feels like a guy like Panarin's not going to be able to do too much in this series. And the Florida Panthers have shown that they have all the elements way better than the New York Rangers have, right? And so in my eyes, the verdict for me in this series, I'm going to have to easily take the Florida Panthers, and I think this is going to go in 6. I think this one's going to go a little bit in the distance, because I think that some of the guys on this Ranger, Shesterkin, for one, is an absolutely fantastic goaltender. You have some really good defense, and we know that the power play of the Florida Panthers has been very weak. And to me, the penalty kill of the Rangers will really slow that down. And the Rangers are still a threat. That's why I'm not putting them like the Panthers in 5 or 4, right? I think the Rangers are still a threat where they're going to be able to find a couple games in this series where that power play can come alive and dominate against the Florida Panthers and really make Bobrovsky make a couple of mistakes and the Panthers as a whole. And I think they are going to be able to pull out a couple of victories in this one, but it'll be the type of victories where it's like, yeah, it's a close one, right? It's like a 2-goal, 1-goal game, and the Florida Panthers, the games they win were like, that was them winning, right? That was them winning. The Rangers didn't have a chance. And for me, the Florida Panthers are going to take this one in 6. They're going to go a little bit the distance, but not all the way, and the Panthers are going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals for the 2nd year in a row, because this team truly has shown they have what it takes to win. They have all they have all the necessary skills, and now they've put more together with the defensive side of things, where last year they lacked. To me, the Panthers got this series all the way, and it's not even going to be close. So that is all I got to say. So thank you for watching this and made it this far. Please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. Please just do that. It means the world. Anyways, thank you for watching this. Too sweet. Have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.